It's time for Straight on the Point with Jesse T. from some undisclosed location somewhere in the world. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Jesse T.
Well, it's good to be back with you here. The Brown Beauty is back on duty. We got Kasem coming up here in just a second. We'll get him going. Remember American Top 40? You'll never forget this very distinguishable voice if you grew up in the last 50 years of America or anywhere around the world. That's for sure, because we got to do a little something here before we jump into Tom Sizemore. We're reaching out to him right now. The traffic situation and weather kind of put him behind the screen a little bit, getting down here to the station. So we're going to be reaching out to him in just a second. Let me know when you get Casey up. And is he ready to go? All right, hit it, man.
Hi, and welcome to American Top 40. I'm Kasem, and I'm all set to punch the button that starts our annual recap of the 100 biggest singles of the year just finished. We're counting down Billboard's tabulation of the 100 top hits of 1975. 8 hours worth of the most popular songs of the year.
Now on with the countdown!
Number 100 is a discotheque hit that peaked at number 10 last February. It's by Monty Rock III, known on this record as Discotheques and the Sexolettes. Get dancing!
That's right, Kasem right there, American Top 40. I originally met Casey way back when I was a little kid through my godfather, Harry Newman. They were peers together, and Casey was really something. If you remember the American Top 40, he was the originator of that, perhaps the guy that was heard most than anybody else doing a countdown. He was the countdown king. And Kasem was a man that was been around for a good 40 years in the radio business, doing voiceovers and commercials. He was Scooby-Doo's voice on one of my favorite cartoons, and Scooby-Dooby-Doo, Where Are You? Okay, great. We got Tom lined up. We'll get to him in a second. But as you know, Kasem died in the year 2014, just about 4 to 5 years ago right now. And there was lots of controversy about how he died and what actually happened in the situation of his passing. And there has been many fights between the family members about who actually contributed towards Casey's eventual death, or who didn't contribute towards Casey's death. And his wife of 34 to 35 years, she is just a terrific woman. In fact, I only knew her as Casey's wife. Precedingly thereafter, I met Casey as a young radio personality and a disc jockey here in Los Angeles over the years, a couple, 2, 3, 4 times. And Janine Kasem was always, Jeannie Kasem was always with him all the time. And they were like, just two peas in a pot. And just a wonderful marriage that they had together for many, many decades. And there's a big, huge fight going on over the children of the first marriage of Kasem and his wife still. They never did divorce his second wife. He passed away, and she then ensued a big battle in terms of how did Casey die. And the children of the first marriage are blaming her, and she is looking at the evidence, and with many investigators, quality investigators, have come up with new information to the degree and the point that prosecutors now have taken over the Kasem homicide investigation. If you remember, 48 Hours did a big 2-hour show on this a couple of weekends ago. But now the prosecutors from the Gig Harbor Police Department, a very small police department, have turned the case over to the prosecutors. It's kind of got out of their it's got too sophisticated for them to be able to deal with a small police agency. So the prosecutors now have taken over the the case in terms of who or how did Casey Kasem die. A homicide investigation is still actually on the way. A lot of new evidence has been produced that has led towards the possibility of the children of the first marriage having some actions that took place that led to Casey Kasem's eventual death. What I know so far is that the first children took him out of the hospital that he was in after a surgery and had him go down and sign some documents in Los Angeles, and then moved him out of state. And then he died then thereafter very shortly, while his wife was what was that? Skype. Oh, that was Skype. Okay. His wife was trying to find documents here in Los Angeles and filed these papers with her attorney to bring Casey back to California, where he was being taken care of by her. And so there ensues the argument in terms of who killed Casey Kasem. And so we're going to be getting more into this as time goes on here. We're going to follow up, and we're going to look into this a little more deeply. We were hoping to have his wife on the phone here with us, but she fell ill today. It's one of those kind of days in Southern California. Things are happening. So we're going to look to the future and be able to bring her on the program for about 30 minutes or so, and we'll talk about this case. But the great voice of American Top 40, ATP Top 40, man, Casey Kasem, had an estate of $80 to $100 million, and his daughter from the first marriage, which I understand has been, he kind of wrote them out of the will, excommunicated them from his life, and she's a Scientologist as well. So there's a lot of interesting facets about what is taking place here in this, and I'm glad to see that the prosecutors now, more sophisticated lawyers and attorneys, have taken this case in the hand and find out how Casey Kasem actually died. It is being investigated as a homicide as we speak. So we want you to stay tuned for that, and we'll be talking more about that as time goes on. This is Jesse T on the Jesse T Show. We are broadcasting live on Facebook.com/Jesse Terrero, as well as we are broadcasting on Instagram live at Jesse Terrero, and also YouTube, Jesse Terrero. The Power of Voices on YouTube and Facebook, as well as www.thepowerofvoices.com, and about 20 other social media TV networks and online radio all around the world. Good to have you along with me. It's the Jesse T Show, and bringing on Tom Sizemore right now. We're going to play a little clip from him, and then he'll be on the other side of this clip. So this was from a movie, and this was one of his very famous movies, and I know you're going to be able to watch this, folks that can hear it, and if you can't or can see it, and if you folks can only hear it, check it out. This is one of Tom Sizemore's big movies, and let's see if you can guess what it is.
They're shooting at us! They're shooting at us! We'll shoot back! Set up your perimeter! There's a fucking rocket in him, sir! Out the calm down, goddammit! There's 5 orders now! Get out! Get out! Bitch. No!
Surveillance says to take Harwodig, then go straight.
McKnight, we need you to turn around and head back to Harwodig.
Shit, man! We just came through there! There's gotta be a better route!
It's the info I'm getting from JOC. You need to turn around and head back.
Roger that! Roger that! Keep your foot on the gas! Keep your foot on the gas pump! Sergeant Eversman! I heard you guys needed a lift? Yes, sir. Bring your wounded right over there and start loading them up.
Black Hawk Down, baby. One of the favorite Tom Sizemore movies of my life. I love him in that. He plays this steely, ice-cold sergeant. It's unbelievable what this guy does in this movie. He's like the John Wayne personified, relived completely and 100%. Bringing on Tom Sizemore. Hey, Tom, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, Jesse. Thank you very much. Thanks for all those kind words. Very, very kind of you. Thanks.
What a great movie Black Hawk Down was and still is today, and I believe it's going to hold up for time immortal. I mean, that is just one of the very best action movies to kind of really give you a feel of how that happens, how that takes place. I mean, how fun was that to do that movie, man?
It was a lot of fun, actually. It was we shot it in Rabat, Morocco. Rabat's the capital of Morocco, and we shot it in a little village inside of Rabat called Sidi Moussa. It was 2001. It was shot in the summer. It was 6 months. It was oppressively hot. But Ridley Scott makes it. He's just such a what's the word? He's inspiring person to be around, and he just was he was a very evocative person, and he knew the story of what happened on September 3rd, I believe it was, or October 3rd, November 3rd. I can't remember what day it was now. I thought it was October.
One of the things
anyway, he knew the story up backwards and forwards. And Mark Bowden came over, who wrote the book,
right?
And we had a great ensemble of actors, and it was just it was just a great people doing great material. You can't beat it.
You know, when you watch a movie, some movies have, it's like timing. It's like a comedian who's on stage delivering his repertoire of jokes and stories. It's the timing that's involved. And sometimes certain scenes, when you're watching a film from the audience point of view, they're great, of course, when you've got quality people working in them. But sometimes it seems like the film, that the timing of the actors, the way they cut it, the way they edited it, and how they put it together, the final product is just kind of, it's a little bit off. But this movie, Black Hawk Down, everything was, the timing of every step and every nuance and every look and every sound effect and everything that you as actors did was just right on the button. And did you have a sense of that when you were actually doing some of these action scenes with the explosions and all the things that were going on around you and the yelling and the screaming? Did you have a sense of this impeccable timing that was happening?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think we did. That's Ridley. That's the way the movie is modulated, the way you're calling it timing.
Yeah.
That's Ridley's, that's one of the things he does so well. He cut it so well, the music. I know what you mean about it. It seems like everything happens in the appropriate amount of time and at the appropriate amount of time.
Yeah, it's like, that should happen right there. Oh yeah, that guy would actually do that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And your character is so crazy. I mean, it's like this character can walk through, bricks and walk through storms and never be disheveled at all, never have any kind of harm done to him. At least he feels that way. When you got this part and you looked at that script, did that characterization of this man jump off at you? I mean, it's so John Wayne-ish. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, it didn't jump out at you. In my circumstance, it was an enormous plus. The plus for me was that Danny McKnight, Lieutenant Colonel Danny McKnight, who went on to become a brigadier general,
right,
was alive. He was alive and at Fort Bragg, and he came to Fort Benning to see me when I went to Fort Benning for a very modified boot camp before the movie. So I got to meet him, and I got to meet him as and he actually stayed at my house in L.A. like several years later when he came through for some business and stuff, and we got to be very, very close. We weren't close off the bat. He wasn't a big supporter of the movie actually when it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he didn't want to. Yeah, the reason he didn't want it made, He was very outspoken about that before we got to making it. By the time we were actually shooting it, I mean, he had obviously made his peace with it and was trying to be as helpful as possible.
Right.
As I got to know him better, I did ask him. I said, I got to actually call him Danny eventually. I said, Danny, why didn't you want the movie made? And he said, well, if you will recall, the way it was characterized in the press in America was that we were beaten in a way. We were defeated.
Yeah.
Pulled him out the very next day. He fired Les Aspin, the Secretary of Defense, and he said even though we had, it's not a body count that that they got. We did win the body count, but we got Durant out. We did get the food to the right people, and we did get a deed eventually. It was down the road a bit, but the mission was a success.
Right.
Insofar as we didn't get a deed, but we softened them up to get them later. So he just thought it was going to be, he just thought his guys were going to be portrayed as losers.
I guess in a lot of ways, Tom, when you're talking about a general, a colonel, a sergeant, or a captain, somebody who actually served in that actual battle in and around that time, that actually had friends and people be harmed in that battle. I guess it's such a important part of their life that either they're somebody that can go, yeah, I want this story told, or it's a very private part of the story that needs to be told.
He didn't think enough time had gone by. He said, maybe it had only been 8 years. He said maybe another 10 years down the road I'd feel differently, but he said I can still remember. He told me this. I can still remember, what I ate for breakfast that morning, and
right.
And he said, the scene where I hold the guy's hand when the gentleman is dying,
mm-hmm.
that really happened. And he asked me, not in a smart-ass way, he goes, I mean, you've never looked into a person's eyes and had them say to you, I don't want to die. And you say to them, you're not gonna, knowing they're gonna. Have you? And I went, no. He goes, you never want to do that. That's something you don't want to do. So, he was incredibly close to his guys. I got to meet a lot of them. He just felt, he just didn't want to see them. He didn't want to have, I guess, the event and the emotion of the event bastardized, and he didn't want to have his guys portrayed in a bad way. They were great kids. He said, they fought bravely, and you know what I mean.
That's one of the, but that's one of the terrific things about that movie. Is that the realness that you're talking about right there from this general? The realness was still portrayed so well in Black Hawk Down. You just believed every single character, every actor.
I agree. I thought it was for me. Having been in Saving Private Ryan, I mean, they're much different. But I thought you got a better sense of what being in a firefight might feel like from Black Hawk Down than you might have gotten from other war movies. I thought it was more of the flesh, I don't know. It just was hyper real to me.
Well, your part was, there were two parts in there that I liked, two actors that I liked, and I don't recall the gentleman's name, the guy's name who played the ranger who came in later, and then at the end of the movie, he just got himself cleaned up and went back out. That last scene where the guys were running from the terrorists who were trying to shoot them, running up that road. Wow! I mean, you talk about studs.
The Mogadishu Mile.
Oh my gosh! I mean,
he had to run. It was a 1.8 meters. I guess it was almost 2 miles.
It's amazing.
The Mogadishu Mile. Yeah.
What?
They didn't have enough room. We didn't have enough room in the pack. We used the Pakistani vehicles too. They didn't have enough room.
Yeah.
To get them out. They had to it was either run out or get killed.
Yeah, and they ran, and they portrayed that so well, man. Picking up their brothers who fell, and while they're getting shot at, the guy who played the leader of that squad, and you playing the leader of your squad, these were my two favorite favorite parts of the film. Watching you fellas, man, just great stuff. Hey,
I thought everyone was great in the movie. You know, that was Tom Hardy's first movie.
That's mind-boggling. I mean, you talk about a natural-born talent, huh?
Yeah, Tom was great, man. I had a feeling that there was something special about him. We hung out a lot.
Yeah.
It was you remember him in the movie, right?
Yes.
Evan Bremer, the deaf. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, we got somebody who just called in, Tom. You want to take a phone call from a fan? And hi, who's calling?
This is Jeff Langton.
Hey, Jeff Langton, you're on the phone with Jesse T and Tom Sizemore.
Okay. Hey, what's happening, Tom?
I'm good, brother. How you doing?
Fellow actor.
Oh yeah.
Hey, let me ask you something, Tom. So,
Sure.
when you started acting, is that something that you wanted to do?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I really wanted to do it. It was a byproduct of a couple other incidents in my life. I got hurt, and I'm no longer going to be able to play football, and I got involved in musical theater, and it was just musical theater is not like really acting, and I had fallen in love with movies in my later teen years, and
Right.
yeah, I jumped in with both feet. I had a great deal of excitement, and in the beginning of my career, of the whole thing, like a lot of actors, I didn't know what these grim odds were that you'd never make a living as an actor.
Yeah,
I don't know
really.
I don't know if it would have prevented me from jumping in. I was just so relieved that I found something I was interested in after a kind of existential crisis as a teenager, like a lot of teenagers.
Right.
That I found something that I wouldn't mind doing. Getting up and going, doing it every day.
Right.
And so I was
when
really excited.
So Tom, when you went for your training, when you went to training, you had training for your acting. Did you go to college or did you?
Yeah, I went to college, and I was called it was called a theater major, but I got a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree, and then I went and got a Master's of Fine Arts later, right after undergrad school. So yeah, I studied acting in college, and then when I moved to New York, I studied the Meisner technique, and then I studied with Kurt Dempster at the Ensemble Studio Theater. So I did a good 8 years in class. I was always either doing a play or I was in class. My best advice to any actor, any young actor, or someone just beginning to act, whatever their age might be, and they're just beginning to act, is to act a lot, act in front of teachers, get in a play. There's no substitute for getting up and doing it. It's like anything else. The more you do it, the better you get at it. And the better people you work with, the better you're going to raise your game. It's like sports. You play with good players, play against good players, you're going to get better.
Hey, we're on the phone with Tom Sizemore, who's checking in on the Jesse T Show today. We just saw a nice clip from one of his very famous pictures, the Black Hawk Down. And if you ever get a chance to see that again, go check it out. I mean, it's an impeccable film that talks about a really great story. Taking some calls at 424-227-9461. And on the line with Jeff Langton. Jeff, let me ask you a question. When you're an actor, right, Jeff?
Yes.
Now,
for 43 years, I've been in the movies.
So what is it? What is it? How do actors survive through the ups and downs? And this is for you, Tom, too, as well. I mean, especially in this entertainment business, how do people survive the high highs and the low lows? It's got to be a struggle in a lot of ways.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, Jeff. Let me hear your input. Then we'll get to Tom.
When I came out here to Los Angeles, I worked at a bouncer at the Palace nightclub in Hollywood. I worked there for 2 years, and I beat up a lot of people. And I was coming out. I was boxing, as you know, and I was boxing for Muhammad Ali. And I went in. Some guy said, "Hey, there's a job over here." It was all about economics for me back then, and then I went to acting school, and I studied at the actor studio, the master's class, and the Meisner, and I don't believe in all that. I think you need training. Like if someone can't read, it's going to be very difficult to act, and then you got to learn how to memorize, and you got to learn how to sight read, and all this other stuff. But like with Tom, you know, he went to school and he got a master's degree in theater arts. See, a lot of actors come out, they don't pursue what Tom pursued, I feel. But the interesting question is how people survive. You got to have another job. Like they had this scene in the movie one time. The guy was a waiter, and the guy says, he said to him, this famous actor, he became a famous actor, and the actor, he's like famous, and he said to him, "Hey, waiter," and the guy turned around real quick and said, "What? Can I help you, sir?" See, so I think you need two professions in acting, and I think Tom will agree with that. But when you make the kind of money like Tom Sizemore made, and you don't have any political problems, then what will happen is that you could survive. But like this day,
female problem.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Not only political problems, but female problems, brother. You said that right, Tom. I mean, that does get in the way, right?
Yeah. Despite what issues and problems I may have had, I've been very, very blessed that I've never had to have a job as an adult apart from actor, and that's a blessing. And I'm just very fortunate. I studied with some guys that were, very, very talented guys I thought were better than me. Even a couple guys that moved to New York after school, and particularly one guy in particular. I'm not going to say his name, but I just thought this guy was, destined for greatness, and it just never happened. And we stayed in touch, and he ended up going to law school when he turned 33 or something, and he just couldn't take the rejection. It was just wearing him out.
It is a game riddled with rejection. Not only do you have, your
even
question.
if you're successful. Even if you're successful, you're still not going to get everything you want.
Yeah, and you have to make adjustments all the time.
Maybe Cruz gets what he wants most of the time, but no one gets what they want.
Yeah. No, you're right. Travolta, Cruz, De Niro, and De Niro had a big part of your career right there in the '90s when you did Heat with him. From what I understand, he had a big part in helping you.
Yeah, we got real close. He was real good to me. He took a real interest in me, and my family, my mom. He was real good to us.
Yeah.
He's a great person.
The camaraderie that the friendships that you develop in this business are I have always said are unlike any other.
They'll sustain you.
Yeah. They really, really will, and because you're all cut from the same sort of rock in terms of that. But how do you deal with the fact that, for 5 years you're up on top, and then for 3 years you're down on the bottom, then all of a sudden 5 more years you're super high, then you're down and up and down. I mean, how do you get through those low spots? I think that's the toughest thing.
Yeah, I think I've been blessed in that I have other things I'm interested in.
Right.
I don't have to I don't have to work or anything like that, but I love to read. I love sports. I have my family, of course, and I don't I got hip really early. Like I couldn't let certain things drag me down. Like you're not going to get every job you go meet for.
Right.
You're going to get the job you read for, and sometimes it goes on it seems like it's going on interminably, but every dog has his day, and it'll pass. Before the dawn, it's usually really dark. So,
you know what I want to talk about when I'm going to play this clip from Heat. This is the clip where you, Val Kilmer, De Niro, Danny Trejo are all kind of deciding whether you're going to do the bank job or not. And it really the one thing, folks, I want you to watch in the acting experience here. Of course, you've got great actors here. I mean, some of the very best.
You're going to film a great scene too. I know, outside of our cars.
Yeah, you're sitting there. You're kind of but watch Tom Sizemore make a decision. And this is fascinating because this is where acting really becomes an art form. It really becomes a realistic approach from the soul when you can see in the actors' eyes that they actually have to make a choice. And it's a beautiful scene. You want to add something to this? This is that scene, Tom. You want to add something to it?
I think it's everything you said it was. It's everything you said it was. It's a big scene. It is a scene about a decision, and I don't think you can. I hope you can't see all of the years of studying, but like everything I learned about acting and is right here in this scene. Listening, reacting to what you hear. My mind gets changed. I started this thinking I'm gonna, I started this. I remember how I did this. How I thought about the scene was I don't exactly know why we've stopped to talk, but then I realized what it is, and I'm pretty certain I don't want to do it. But then I realized, well, the reason but let's play the scene. I'll tell you what.
Okay, we're going to play a scene. This is from the wonderful picture Heat, starring Tom Sizemore, Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer, Danny Trejo's in this scene, and there's so many other great actors in here. And this is a great scene where Tom Sizemore has to make a very, very important decision. And hit it, Lee.
LAPD, gee, what? Where the fuck did this heat come from?
Maybe it's a score they're on to, the place, not us. Because it's been hit a couple of times, something.
Assume they got our phones, assume they got our houses, assume they got us, right here, right now, as we sit, everything, assume it all.
How are we going to buy the bank package from Kelso?
I'll front that, that's not a problem.
Well, what the hell happens to Van Zandt or 750?
Van Zandt, listen, with the heat we got, you want to play World War II in the streets with Van Zandt?
No, I want my 750, and when he gets a pass?
I got more motivation to whack Van Zandt than either of you. He is a fucking luxury. Our problem is take the bank or split right now. Do not go home, do not pack, nothing. 30 seconds flat from now, we are gone on our separate ways. That's it. Chris.
The bank is worth the risk. I need it, brother. We should stay and take it down. That's where I come out.
I roll with you, Neil, whatever. Whatever.
No, not on this one, Michael. On this one, you're on your own.
This is the best thing to do. This is the best thing to do.
I got plans. I'm going away after. So for me, the reward is maybe worth the stretch. But Elaine takes good care of you. You got plenty put away. You got T-bonds, real estate. If I were you, I would be smart. I would cut loose of this.
Well, for me, the action is the juice. I'm in.
Go.
Yeah, sure.
Let's go.
Fuck them. Let's do it.
All right, let's go. We got a lot of work.
Fuck them. Let's do it. Man, oh man, what a great scene. Congratulations, man. I gotta tell you, that's one of the scenes of the film, as far as I'm concerned.
It is the juice. I'm in. That's the point. That's where it makes the decision.
Yeah.
How I approached the scene was I initially thought that I played it like I didn't know what we were going to talk about, and then when he starts to talk about it, I don't need the job, but when I go, I roll with you, Neil. Whatever you say is what whatever you say. Go, whatever I'm going to say there. I don't know what it was, but whatever you.
Yeah, you're
not on this one.
Hooking up with your partner. You're always with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not on this one, Michael. On this one, you're on your own.
Yeah.
I go, dude, you think this is the best thing to do? Is this the best thing to do?
Yeah.
And he basically says, well, for me, it's the best thing to do, but for you, from what I can see, it's not. You got a lot put away. You got your daughters. You got your wife. And he's right. But when I say, I decided to do it anyway, it was because of the the friendship. He needs me. He can't do it without me. And if you can try to remember later in the movie, quickly hereafter, we do the bank.
Yeah.
You can tell how much he needs me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, 3 guys had to go into that bank.
Yeah.
You know, Trejo can't make the job, you recall, and then, you know, there's only one plot point in the movie that's kind of weird, is that he sees Dennis Haysbert as a short order cook in that restaurant, and he goes, hey, remember, they're in prison together, and he gets Haysbert to step in for Trejo.
Right.
All of us have a job to take that bank down, so I do it out of my loyalty, and Neil McCauley, De Niro's character, you know, needing me to make it work.
Yeah, I tell you, man, great scene. One of your very best movies.
It's a great scene. It's a great scene. You know, Michael wrote that scene. It's Michael Mann, and
yeah,
all those guys are great in the scene. Bob's, you know, of course, the engine behind the whole damn movie, and
yeah,
Al and Bob, and they're just both great.
You know, you've done so many films. I mean, well over 200. You've got a filmography that's a mile long. You know, I mean, it's like, where do you start? So many. I love a film that you did about the USS Indianapolis. I thought that was one of your.
Oh, I like that movie too. No one liked that movie.
Dude, I thought that was one of your great pictures, man. All those scenes about you guys getting eaten by sharks after you delivered the A-bomb. I mean,
I like that movie.
Oh man, great movie, and that
I thought Nick was good in the movie too.
Nicolas Cage was great, and it was sort of kind of a rebound movie for him to reestablish himself. I remember
we did that 2 years ago.
Yeah,
2 years ago. We just did it. You know?
It
was a kind of rebound movie for me too.
Yeah, it was, and you guys did a great job, and that's like one of my favorite movies. I you know, of course, working with Quentin Tarantino. I mean, how many times did you have to read for Pink, right? I mean,
right.
You know,
I had to read for Pink 18 times.
I mean, come on, 18 times. You think he'd get it, man? You're Pink.
18.
You know,
18 times, and I didn't get it.
Yeah,
Buscemi got it.
Yeah, it's just amazing. I mean, just a lot of the great stuff, and you've done a lot of journeyman work too, because an actor has to work, like you said, an actor has to act, but in everything that you've done, you bring an edge, and that edge, I think, comes from a lot of your natural life, and you've had, you know, I don't want to touch too much about this, but I when we talk about Tom Sizemore, we have to talk about the edge, living on the edge, being on the edge, a guy who's, you know, got that grit. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, having a little bit too much party, a little bit. That's right. A little bit too much party. Yeah, well, I wasn't gonna say it, man. I wanted to, but yeah, I mean, but you know something, you're still here, and that's a testament to you becoming the ability to overcome your demons. But you know, how you feeling, man? Seriously, how you feeling now?
Brother. What's that?
How you feeling now? I mean, is everything going good?
Well, I'm just coming through a little bit of a emotionally turbulent time with some bullshit, but I'm incredible. I'm 100%. You know, I'm healthy. I still smoke some cigarettes now and again, but I'm drinking soda. You know, but you know,
yeah,
the partying's a thing of the past. You know, I still enjoy sex. You know, once every 3.5 weeks.
Yeah. Well, at least you get it every 3.5 weeks, man. I'm like once every 3.5 years. I mean, you know.
How old are you? 57? Like me?
Yeah, exactly right, man. I'm a year on you, man. That next year of your life, it's going to stop working, brother.
I used to want to do it all the time, every day. And listen, it drops off. The drive just drops off. And
you telling me?
I'm going through a little bit of a mourning period about. I'm not kidding you. It's happened the last year. I just don't have the same drive.
Yeah, you look down there at the end of your shower. You look down there at the end of your shower and you say, "Come on, man. What's wrong with you?
Come on, man. Come on. What's wrong with you? Let's get on the ball."
That's right.
Tell me what to do.
That's yeah. It's sort of like
make some plans.
I had a friend of mine tell me a joke about Private Ryan, right? The great movie you did. What another fantastic movie! My goodness, and a cast, and just. But the Private Ryan joke that one of my buddies, Dan the Man, has. He says, "Yeah, I love Private Ryan. I just want to know if they saved Ryan's privates." You know,
I agree with that.
that's a Dan the Man joke. I got to credit that guy for that. But, you know, as you get older, things do change, brother. That's what happens, man. And it's good to see the life back in you, the sparkle back in you, and
you see me in person. I sound like an asshole. I'm saying I look so good.
Yeah, well, look at man. I'm not going to wear the red wig for you. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, no, that was last year.
Yeah. Oh, gee, don't tell my secrets, brother. Come on. I mean, you had the crazy relationship with Heidi Klum, and you had that party time going on, but you've come through that smoke and you've come out the other end, and you're working like mad now. Every time a mutual friend of ours, Gerald Wolf, every time he says, "Man, Tom just got another gig going. He's got another something going." You're working like mad now. Fantastic.
Jerry's been instrumental in that. I got a lot of things. I have a couple of really significantly cool things I'm going to do here. That's great.
I can't wait to see him. I really can't wait. What do you think about all this sci-fi horror pictures and these big CGI type pictures, green screen pictures? Do you think that's taken away from the ability of the story and the actor's life in the story?
You know, I would be remiss in having saying too much about it because I haven't seen many of them. I saw Robert, you know, because Downey and I did a couple movies together back in the '90s, Heart and Souls and Natural Born Killers. And I saw Iron Man, but you know all this dystopia shit and The Walking Dead and all. It's just not my bag, you know.
Right.
I like movies. I was raised. I became a young person in the '70s, so that you know that the new, you know, Scorsese, Coppola, Woody Allen, all those filmmakers were coming into their own. Mm-hmm. So I was raised on stories, and it's what attracts me about a movie, apart from you know the actors. Like I do have my favorite actors, or you know certain actors I enjoy watching a lot more than I do and just enjoy. But it's the movie, it's the story of the movie. That's what gets me, what grabs me. So I'm not a big fan of this stuff. I mean, I sometimes watch it because of my kids, but I just can't get into it.
You know, I like stories, and I do miss the storytelling, and I hope that it comes back in this next generation of young directors.
Dead right now, it's just kind of dead. You don't see. You don't have a young Quentin Tarantino. You don't have a Paul Michael Anderson.
No, they're
not making their movies, or I don't know what's going on. You know.
No, they're all utilizing the technology of the day, and they're all utilizing the aspect of it. No, we'll get to that in a second. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Lee was just giving me some time limits there, but you're right. It's just Olivier always said that the makings of a great film is a great story in his autobiography, and we all know that. But to hear that from Olivier, who did every great story there was in Shakespeare and Moliere and Chekhov and classical theater. And that's something that you did too. A lot of people don't realize that you can sing and dance, and you did theater in New York for a lot of years before you got the film, and you did commercials. You did a lot of stuff, man.
I played Iago, I played Hamlet, I did William Godot.
I would love to see you do Hamlet, man. Oh, I'd pay you.
I kicked its ass when I was 23.
Yeah,
I could do it now too. I bet.
I bet you could, man.
It'd be tough to do it 8 shows a week on Broadway. But
oh yeah, man.
But I did all that shit. I mean, that was what that's what got me all geeked up was doing theater.
Yeah, theater.
There's nothing like live theater. There's nothing like it.
And we don't have enough of it. Certainly here in Los Angeles, they've over the years. I mean, I did a lot of what used to be called equity waiver or under 99 seaters myself here, but we never had a big house other than the Taper.
You were an actor from the beginning, weren't you?
Yeah, from the beginning. I've done not 216 films, but I've done some things. I don't talk about it that much, but It's all entertainment to me, man. Yeah. Well, look at the scene out in the back with the pigs in the mud. I don't talk about that one too much either. But yeah, it's a wonderful life, and I'm so glad that things have kind of shaped up. Last time we talked, you were going through a tough time there, and I want you to know this.
I was depressed.
Yeah, I want you to know this, that I think that some of the stuff that has come your way is purely blackmail. It's extortion. And we won't get too much into that, and I really don't want to. But I just want you to know publicly, it was a mind blower to me that anybody would ever say such
really
things.
Shitty. It was really shitty, and
yeah,
but it's essentially over.
Yeah, you got through it, man.
The worst is way over, and
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, the first when I said, no way, you got to be kidding me, really? That's not going to happen. No. And the homework I did on it and the research I did on it early on, trying to help you out with a couple cents here and there, it was so petty and it's so ridiculous. But that's one of the things that plague being a public figure today is you're a target.
Especially now, it seems like more than ever, huh?
Yeah. And how do you get around not being a target when you have such a familiar face? I mean, do you wear dark glasses and a blonde wig?
There's no real way around it if you want to be out in life.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got two young boys. Well, they're not. Your boys are in their 20s now.
No, they're 13.
Oh, they're kids, babe. They're babies. Oh yeah,
they're 13.
Man. So their dad's got to be out hanging around.
Cool for them. This was not cool for them. What happened?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And that was the thing that hurt the most was the
repercussions of that towards the family, man.
Yeah. What happened to my mother and to my kids.
Yeah. How can you ever repair that? How can that ever come back?
My mind. Just kind of crippled her, not literally, but figuratively.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's better too, though. He's doing a lot better too.
So tell me about this Brazilian jiu-jitsu stuff that you started taking to kind of get back in shape and stuff. Are you still?
Oh, I just did that for a minute, man.
Yeah.
Jerry made too much of that. I'm not into. No.
Yeah.
My main form of exercise is I do my elliptical fitness cross trainer, 45 minutes twice a day if I'm feeling really ambitious, and one day, no, that's a bunch of BS.
Yeah.
Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I'm not that guy.
Okay, I was going to say we're going to have to go.
I'll get a facial. That's as far as I push it.
That's about as Brazilian jiu-jitsu as you get, right? Now look I've got another clip I want to play, and this is a Sergeant Miller clip. This is a clip in Saving Private Ryan. Where
Miller, Sergeant Corvette.
Yeah, that's right. The where you come face to face as one of the privates who doesn't want to listen to his captain. Yeah. Right after you guys ascend the top of the German bunkers there, and it's an amazing clip because it really shows off a lot of things about you. Before we get into that, though, is there something that we can? That the fans, how can the fans stay in touch with you and retouch you and kind of follow your career and be a participant with what you're doing? Do you have like an Instagram or Facebook or anything, Tom?
I have a Facebook page. I got to start doing that stuff. That's something I got to start doing. But
yeah,
you can go on. I guess what do they go on? I can't remember. You go on Facebook, you can punch in Tom Sizemore. There's a whole bunch of Tom Sizemore sites come up, but it's
very good.
I'm in the you can't miss it. I have on my Black Hawk Down outfit.
Right, exactly. Yeah, good. Okay, so you just punch your name in.
Facebook.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah. Are you finishing up a production right now? Is there something that we can look forward to coming up?
I'm starting a movie called The Gift. I have a movie coming out. I did called The Martyr Maker. That I did, The Martyr Maker that I did in New York about 9 months ago. It's about how these very fascist type Muslim splinter groups, real are trying to recruit young Arab Americans into young Muslims into being suicide bombers.
Oh,
Martyr Maker, and
that's interesting.
Directed by Kamal Ahmed, who was originally a Jerky Boy.
Yeah.
Directed four movies now, and this is by far and away, I think, his best movie. I star in that, and I'm doing a movie called The Gift in El Paso that Gerald had worked on,
right,
making it come together. And but The Martyr Maker is going to come out in theaters approximately like 3 months. So look for that.
Are we ever going to see a soft side to Tom Sizemore? Because you always play these just great tough guys, man. I mean, are we ever going to see you play something, a little different?
Yeah. I've done it before. You see,
yeah.
Souls. I'm kind of soft and cute.
Yeah.
As I get older, I'll get more cuddly. I hope.
More cuddly, right? Yeah, I can't imagine Tom Sizemore soft and cuddly. Yeah, right.
Soft and cuddly.
Yeah, sure.
I got to use the restroom. I'm going to put my best friend on the phone here with you. Here's Taryn Waring. Here's Taryn.
Well, we're gonna play this. We'll talk to Taryn for a second. See, this is a Jesse T show, man. We just let it all hang out. That's what we do. Hi, Taryn. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. We're gonna play this clip from Tom Sizemore, and we're gonna play the Miller clip right now. So Tom can take his exit stage right break, and then we'll be right back with you in about 3 or 4 minutes. Okay.
Okay, perfect.
All right, this is Tom Sizemore from Private Ryan, and check out this scene where he confronts one of the privates who are not obeying Tom Hanks and the captain's orders.
American. I like American. Steamboat Willie. Dude.
Steamboat Willie.
Yeah, Steamboat Willie, the American.
Ich bin noch nicht fertig. Ich muss ihn noch viel tiefer graben. Das ist noch lange nicht tief genug.
This is not finished. Yeah, that's what you think. Come on.
Nein! Ja. Nein, ich bin noch nicht fertig. Please. I like America. Fancy schmancy. What a sense. Go fly a kite. Get back your tongue. Cool of beans.
Betty Boop. What a dish. Betty Grable. Nice gams. I say, can you see? I say, can you see? I say... Fuck Hitler. Fuck Hitler! Es tut mir leid um den Mann, den ihr verloren habt. Den Sanitäter, es ist halt Krieg, nicht? Nicht?
Sir, he says he's sorry about Wade. He says he's sorry about Wade, sir. Captain, this isn't right. You know this. He's a prisoner. He surrendered. He surrendered, sir.
Tell him to march 1,000 paces in that direction. Then he can take off the blindfold. We'll be gone. And he turns himself into the first Allied patrol he comes across.
You gotta be kidding me. We'll let him go?
He's a POW, Ryman. Can't take him with us. Our guys will pick him up sooner or later.
Schlag ist reich. Vielen Dank. Dafür ich werde jetzt gehen. Ich schau mich nicht um. Take me out to the bull again.
Yeah, only if he doesn't get picked up by his own Vermont first and then thrown back into circulation. Cam, you just let the enemy go.
This is such bullshit. You all got that right.
Bullshit.
Yeah, right. This is bullshit.
Shooting prison,
I'll
that'd be
shut
okay.
your
That's
mouth.
against the goddamn rules. Yeah, well, the goddamn rules just walked off with your new friend. But I guess that was the decent thing to do. Huh, Captain?
Get your gear. Let's go.
You heard him. Gear up. Captain just gave you an order.
Yeah. Like the one he gave to take this machine gun. That was a real doozy, wasn't it, Sergeant?
Soldier, you are way out of line.
Yes, sir. That was one hell of a call coming to take this nest, but the hell, we only lost one of our guys going for it. I swear, I hope Mama Ryan's real fucking happy knowing that little Jimmy's life is a little bit more important than two of our guys. But then again, we haven't found them yet, have we? Have we? Get the hell off me.
Ryman, get up. Gear up. Fall in.
I'm done with this mission.
Hey! Hey! Sir. Don't you walk away from your captain. Ryman, get back in line.
No, sir. I'll spend the rest of my life in the stockade if I have to, but I'm done with this.
I'm not gonna ask you again, soldier.
Captain!
Now this is bullshit. Fall in!
You gonna shoot me over, Ryan?
No, I'm gonna shoot you because I don't like you.
Sir,
listen.
Sarge, if he wants to go, just let him go. You gonna shoot me? Are you letting this happen? Captain, you see this?
Captain. Sir. Sir, Ryan's dead. Bullshit.
So we have a situation
This is
here.
bullshit.
Get in on.
Captain, I have a sixth sense about these things. I know it in my bones.
If you don't kill that son of a bitch crab, now you're gonna shoot me.
Huh? He's better than you.
Then why don't you just do it, Sarge? Do it, man. Put one in my leg and give me that $1 million.
I'm gonna shoot you in your big goddamn mouth!
Well, put your money where your mouth is and do it then. Do it.
You don't know
Pull
how
the
to
trigger
shut up.
already. Captain, please.
What's the pool on me up to?
You are a coward son of a bitch!
I'm waiting, Sarge.
Mike,
I'm
what's
waiting.
the pool on me up to right now? What's it up to? Wait, what is it? $300? Is that it? 300? I'm a school teacher. I teach English composition.
Man, I'm telling you, that is a great scene, Tom. That is a great scene if you're back with me.
Thank you very much.
I mean, we played the long version of it because we wanted everybody to get the sense of what was leading up to what you had to take care of as a sergeant. Great stuff, man. Your choices there were wonderful. I mean, how did you do that?
Well, Ed and I didn't like each other all that much, so that made it a little easier.
Yeah, well, that does. Yeah, actually, folks, actors don't always like each other. I mean, it's a job.
Well, we didn't really like each other that much, although we were friendly today.
Right.
But we weren't. We were both kind of vying for Tom and Steven's. You know what I mean.
Yeah, right.
Trying to be the apple of their eye and stuff.
Yeah.
We were competitive and stuff. So, apart from that, I mean, Burns is a great actor. Steven put us in this. Steven's like a great. All directors are similar in this respect. They put you in situations where you kind of can't. You look good. You can't lose. Just follow the notes they're playing.
Yeah, the ensemble there was beautifully put together. The cutting, the editing, and still hearing you in the background yelling at the guy. I mean, just great stuff.
It's just great stuff. It really is. And then that's Steve, and that's Mr. Spielberg.
Yeah, just he has that sort of dimension where he can look past, right in front and see the depth of what he's trying to hear and see. And as an actor, you have to understand that in the scene. And just another great scene. Your career is filled full of so many things. I could talk to you for hours, my friend. We're up though. The Jesse T show is basically over with, but. It's always a pleasure. You have an open door here.
I want to come on in person.
I want you to, man. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to come by and pick you up and bring you down here with me. or better yet, I'm going to take the whole setup to you.
Jesse, Jerry didn't tell you I'm moving in with you next week.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, I got a place out in the back. You don't have to do any dishes, brother, or the pool. You can just kick it and bring the girls over. Of course, Mama T would probably kick my butt, but that's okay.
Well, let's talk about it. Okay?
Tom Sizemore, everybody, great actor. Look for some great things to come out. Just a vibrancy back in his voice. It's nice to see the energy and the step, my friend.
Yeah.
Hey, God bless. Thank you very much.
Hey, stay on the line. I want to talk to you after the show real quick. The Jesse T Show right here, bringing you the very best of what we have to offer here in Los Angeles and Hollywood. The Brown Beauty is always on duty, 5 to 6 right here, Monday through Friday on the Jesse T Show. See ya!